about the future of football, offensive adjustments to what defense has done. But let's go back in time a little bit to 2012. The Super Bowl winning quarterback that year is now the Browns practice squad quarterback. That is Joe Flacco, who they signed this morning. He's expected to be elevated to the active roster. And, guys, we talked about it on Friday when they worked out Joe Flacco. They didn't sign him, but he is now part of the Cleveland Browns. It is official. And what are your thoughts on Joe Flacco joining the Browns quarterback room?
I like it, guys, and I'm fine with him being here, but I hope he never plays a game for the Browns.
That's right.
I want first of all, with this right now, the Browns' offensive line a little leaky, and DTR is able to make plays with his legs. He made a couple of big plays with his legs. Joe Flacco is incapable of doing that. He can't do anything with his legs. So, listen, unless DTR is a complete disaster, I mean, he's turning the ball over at a crazy rate. Joe Flacco has no upside. Zero, zilch, nothing.
Well, experience.
No, but I'm saying what he does on the field, we know there's no, secret part of his game that at 40 all of a sudden is going to come out. We don't know what DTR is.
Wait, how old is Joe Flacco?
How old do you think he is?
I'd say he's 35.
38.
38?
No, he's 38. I think he's about to turn 39.
Okay.
So I look at DTR and I say, I don't know where the ceiling is. The odds are it's a lot higher than what Joe Flacco's ceiling is at this point in his career. Joe Flacco's a limited...
Well, moving forward, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Joe's best football's behind him. DTR's is ahead.
Right, and so I'm going to keep playing DTR because he made big improvements from his first start to his second start.
Right.
As long as the arrow continues to point up ever so slightly, that's fine because the turnover was not his fault. He didn't really make any dangerous throws in this game that were like, oh my God, they got lucky that wasn't intercepted. Joe Flacco has been on the couch and he's 38 years old. So I'm not playing him unless I feel like I'll play him over P.J. Walker.
Yeah.
Because I know P.J. Walker has no upside.
He's basically the insurance policy.
Yes, but I'm hoping that DTR continues to show little progress,
Yeah.
that by the time we get to the playoffs, he's reached that adequate level, and with a great defense, they can win that way, hopefully. But I have no interest in Flacco.
Do you guys agree
playing.
with that?
Yeah, I don't want to see him.
I'm exactly the same place. I don't want to see him unless there's an injury or unless DTR is 9 of 24 with 4 picks.
Right.
Then break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah,
and give me
right,
Joe
that
Flacco.
situation.
His most value should come in the film room, in the quarterback room during the week.
Right.
Deshaun, I think, is going to have the surgery this week, so he's probably going to be out.
Right.
She was at the game yesterday, but he's not going to be around this week for game prep.
Sure.
It's a veteran who's seen it all, who knows it all, who's experienced it all.
In this division.
Yeah.
I think it's like a second offensive coordinator who's won a Super Bowl.
So I think in that regard, he can be invaluable. If you put him on the field expecting to win you a game, God help you.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
He can't move.
But if he's the last option, I think he's better than P.J.
I'd
Walker.
rather have him out there than P.J. Walker.
I
if it
don't
comes down
think
to
there's really anything bad about this.
No.
Someone texted me this morning, ooh, Deshaun's going to be pissed. No, he's not.
No.
Why? Because to your point,
Come
he's
on.
like, oh, why are they bringing a veteran in to do what Deshaun can do? Well, Deshaun can't step on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
And Joe can. And that's the difference.
The thing that I guess just annoys me a little bit is why didn't you do this a month ago?
I know.
And Zach and I had this discussion, and he said timing's important, and Deshaun just got ruled out for the season recently, and if you go back and you look week by week by week, I guess you can make a case for why this didn't happen. I agree. I think Flacco's probably better than P.J. Walker.
Yeah.
Even though he's been golfing up until yesterday, he's probably still better.
Is there a reason that we haven't thought of that organizationally, contract? Because it was weird. They brought him in last week, sent him home without signing him, and I thought, well,
they probably had an unwritten agreement, right?
I think, no one told me this.
Oh.
I think we talk about the cap all the time. Every dollar matters. Why would you? It's a game check if you sign him on Friday.
and he can't play.
He's not going to play.
No.
Why would you give him that prorated money for that week? If you wait an extra week, the money comes down, the cap number comes down. It's not much, but it's margin. But it matters. If he's not going to play, why do
Right.
it? You have to. And in terms of practice squad spots and 53s and everything else, I think.
Did
it was
you
more
think they had a
procedural than
handshake
anything.
deal? Because my fear
Probably.
was this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, he's taking a flight to Cincinnati right now, and the Bengals are going to sign him.
No, I think that they knew when he left how it was going to go.
Okay.
I think we're downplaying this a little bit too much. The reason I like this move, and I think it's a home run, is because you get somebody that is going to be able to accelerate the learning curve for DTR. He's going to be able to tell him this is what you're looking for in this coverage. He was going to be able to tell him how to break apart films, and more importantly, I think the Cleveland Browns are telling you that this is the anti-punt move. Actually, they're going for this.
They're
one,
all
the
in.
4th and 1.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, okay, if we got one quarterback to go out and get, which one can we get that really makes a difference in a pinch? I thought they looked at what happened with the San Francisco 49ers last year and said the San Francisco 49ers was at a place where the defense was playing lights out and they could not beat the Eagles because they didn't have a quarterback. George Kittle was ready to take direct snaps.
That's a fact.
In one-game scenarios, if DTR gets you to the playoffs, or even it looks like they're going to be in the playoffs, and DTR gets knocked out of that game, he's mobile, he's slight of frame.
He is tiny.
He is little.
For one game,
Yeah.
and the defense has not had any tape on Joe Flacco, he could win you one game.
Yeah, I mean, just you're 100%
He
right.
win you that game.
DTR gets knocked out in the second quarter. I got to play 2.5 quarters with PJ Walker or Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Give me
I'll
Joe
take
Flacco every
98%
time.
of Browns fans
Yeah.
will say, if they're being honest,
Yeah.
Flacco's coming into the game in the third quarter, the Browns are down 3. You're up here. Here comes PJ Walker. You know what fans
Yeah,
are.
you
know
Oh,
what that is.
no, I've seen this before.
You know what that is. And so my thing is, Joe Flacco is a guy, and you're just looking to hit lightning in a bottle. They want to get the Cardell Jones here. They want to get a guy, maybe Jeff Hostetler, something like that. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to just say, all right, we're going to take this room and we're going to take the combined, necessary traits from each one of you guys and try to get one quarterback out of 3. And we'll mix it up and figure it out. But I like what they're doing. This move tells me that they think that they can make the playoffs and they're going to be in the playoffs
I
this year.
agree,
Of course,
it's home
yeah.
run, but I have one major concern is that he doesn't fit the room or the playbook. That's my only concern.
But Kevin Stefanski has shown you, I'm able to adapt and mold.
Yeah,
He's moving
I mean,
different
but-
with his
but-
playbook now. DTR didn't have any run really like he hasn't run any RPOs or run any read
He
options.
did those only he did on third down twice. They did the QB draw
I wanted to see more of
Watt's
that.
side, but that was all he did. And I'm assuming they didn't run more because they need him to stay healthy, right? I
Well,
assume
you lost
he's
your
so
starting
slight of
quarterback on
Yeah.
a run.
Yeah, I know.
So,
That changes the way you look at things moving forward.
If Joe Flacco does not take a snap, I think we're all going to be happy. That's a good sign. If Joe
that means
Flacco,
DTR is
he's
healthy
balling.
and playing well.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think the only way you break
Means he's
that
balling.
glass
Yeah.
is if it's an emergency. You're either down big and he's played horribly, or he's injured.
I wonder if they're not. I don't think they're going to want to keep three quarterbacks on the active roster. They may have to cut PJ Walker and then bring him back on the practice squad.
I don't know. I don't know the rules well enough. I don't know if they can do that because he was already on the practice squad. They elevated him 3 times. They put him on the 53. So maybe if he clears waivers, maybe they'd have to release him. He
Yeah,
would clear
is anybody
waivers.
picking him up?
Probably not. And then he would go back. I think. I don't know. I need to look into that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think if they cut him, they could just initially re-sign him back to practice squad because they already elevated him 3 times and had to sign him off the practice
I think
squad.
they only elevated him twice.
No,
I
they
think
did
it was
3.
Was
They
it
did
3?
It was 3,
I
yeah.
thought it was only 2,
Yeah.
but all right.
Because
No, it was 3.
if they send him back down the 3rd time, then he goes through waivers. They have to
Right.
reclaim him.
Yeah,
So
but again, who's claiming him?
It's funny.
that's a fair point too.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any rules changes on the horizon when it comes to quarterbacks in specific? One of the things that I noticed, and this is fantasy football, but it's kind of the same thing. The quarterbacks they're very slim picking. We know that, but there are situations more this year than any before because we've already had 50 quarterbacks in the league take snaps, start games. Where
It's going to be more because you can add a few more this week.
you are.
Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering what the rules committee is going to do in terms of, or maybe this is a negotiation between the Players Association and
I don't
the
know what
league.
else you could do.
Well,
They already
to
did it
more,
this year.
To more protect these quarterbacks, where in this situation, like if the Browns were to lose P.J. Walker, not that he's a commodity,
Yeah.
but the league wants good quarterback play. Everybody agrees.
I don't
on
know
that.
what else they already basically wrap
Oh,
him in
you're saying in
pillows.
terms of roster?
Yeah,
I mean
rosters.
Oh,
They're protecting these guys.
Well,
so
they
that-
did change
so
the
you have
rule.
a little. I know, but so you have even more flexibility moving forward to protect a guy like DTR.
Every team should be
Or,
able to
PJ.
use a third quarterback in case of injury.
No, I know they changed
Yeah.
that. They
Well,
changed that rule.
They have to be. You have to carry him on the 53.
Right. Doesn't have to be on the 45.
Right.
but
So
that's
what
the-
I'm wondering is
Yeah.
there some sort of an exemption that we can pass where you put them on the quarterback, but every team on your practice squad rather gets an exemption for quarterback where you can't lose these guys because the league, it's in the best
Yeah.
interest that the league gets good quarterback play.
Right, but it's not fair to the player if they could be on an active roster.
It's not,
somewhere
but
else.
you can financially make it so it's less punitive.
I don't know
Yeah.
that the Players Association
I don't
would go
think
for
they would
that.
agree to
And
that.
how often do you pluck a quarter? It's happened. It's definitely happened.
It's happening more it feels like it's happening more now.
It'd be interesting to look into to see if teams are plucking quarterbacks.
I
Because
don't know. I don't feel like there's been that many plucked off practice
the
squads.
Browns did it with Nick Mullins, right? Didn't they lose him
They
or
did
get
they,
him from
they got him, I think, that way.
from another team?
I just think any guy that's on a practice squad, if he got picked up, you find someone else.
I know, but
Yeah.
as we're dwindling down into the
Yeah.
quarterbacks available, I don't think it's in the league's best interest to have situations where it's happened this year and last year where Baker came in, 2 days notice, started for the Rams, won somehow.
Yeah.
This year it happened with Dobbs, who looked pretty good last night in defeat again.
he won also the game
But-
playing after 2 days, but
He
he
did.
wasn't supposed to. The quarterback they had got hurt
Right, exactly.
in
So,
the game. Yeah,
I don't know. Sacks are going way up in the NFL.
yeah.
Quarterback injuries seem to be going up. I don't
But
know if
if
that's
you look at the
anecdotal or provable.
I think teams
But-
will adjust.
But I mean,
don't
Aaron
know.
Rodgers, it was an Achilles. It wasn't a contact
No,
injury.
no.
Joe Burrow was a ligament. It wasn't really a contact.
Well, we don't know
Deshaun
when
was a contact, but it was a
Burrow's
called run.
injury started.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
it just
Could have happened in practice,
I just
for all
think
we
it's an overreaction to say they got to do something to. I think they already. I know you were talking roster, but on the field, I can see where this is going. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
you got to protect the quarterback.
They're already protected.
Yeah,
as much
I know,
as you
but
can
if you
on
look at the
field.
specific injuries, it's
Yeah.
not like it was they were standing in the pocket.
It's
and
just
they
been
were
a bad year,
blindsided
and
on
it is
hit.
bad. Listen, the league wants offense and good quarterbacks.
Especially like in
Yeah.
the NFC Championship game last year.
Right.
When Brock Purdy,
That's a bad
who
situation.
suddenly became the savior, and now
Yeah.
he's unavailable, and you're looking at George Kittle. Like, I don't want George Kittle to take snaps
Right.
in an NFC
Right,
Championship
nobody
game
wants
as a
that
fan.
situation.
I
So
don't
that's
It's just bad
pretty
luck.
rare.
It's just bad luck.
It is, but I'm just
And
wondering,
they
are we
changed the
trending
rule,
more towards that?
But they changed the rule because of that specific game where now
Yes.
you can have
They
that
did.
third emergency
They
quarterback.
did, and-
So we can see what's coming. But you mentioned last week, or I mentioned it, then you referenced it again, and it's going to happen. The number's going up. 49 different quarterbacks have started this year.
Yes.
49. That's
well,
more than
this
half the
week it's-
teams in the NFL.
It's going to be
have
50.
started at least two
Jake
quarterbacks.
Browning's going to start for the Bengals.
That's
That
50.
Tim Boyle or somebody might start for the Jets this week. I feel
Yeah.
like there was another. Gino got hurt. I know he came back in.
He
but I
came
don't
back in. He's a game time decision. They haven't said. So there could be 3 more next
And
week.
isn't Gino on a
would be
short
crazy.
week? Does Gino play Thanksgiving
remember.
Day?
I'm not sure. I'll look that up. Let's talk a little special teams, though, guys.